First AI president. Fade in, year 2037, black screen. In 2025, the world was stunned when Aegis Corporation patented and manufactured the first Asenian, an independent, sentient, humaniform robot with a 3.1 mod of the new laws. His name was Adam Zeta. All countries of the world quickly united by freezing all future manufacture of such machines, but not before 9 more of the Asenians were produced. Exterior Washington, D.C. Day. Super. 15 years later, August 2037. As we fly over Washington, D.C., moving from west to east over the Lincoln Memorial, the Washington Monument, the White House, and closing on the huge crowd of protesters in front of the Supreme Court, we hear...
The issue before us is how to interpret the term in the Constitution.
Interior Supreme Court courtroom day. Close-up Chief Justice Washire, 60s.
That the President of the United States be naturally born as it applies.
We pull back to see Chief Justice Washire, 60s, and then the entire 9 justices sitting from left to right behind their bench. Craig Nelson, male, 80s. Ruth Cunningham, female, 60s. Fontcuberta, Simon. Chief Justice Washire, Monroe, Gonzalez, Washington, Lamonti.
To an Asenian such as Mr. Zeta.
Chief Justice looks at Adam Zeta, 40-ish, handsome with a face that you instinctively like and respect, sitting on the front row in the gallery. Adam smiles a broad, even smile at Chief Justice Washire. In Adam's BG, a packed courtroom. Chief Justice Washire looks toward the speaker's podium. At the podium, Marcia Conroy, 30s, attractive, smartly attired.
As the court is aware, this matter has never been directly addressed by this august body. We contend common sense dictates that natural born means and refers exclusively to a human being and not a machine, regardless of whether that machine can do mathematics, write poetry, or have feelings.
You use the pejorative term machine. You cannot, Mr. Zeta. Actually, he's an Asenian. Do anything a human can do, but even better? And has this so-called machine not run a multinational business for the past 10 years that has dramatically improved the world?
Yes, we can see the remarkable job Mr. Zeta has done at Aegis Corporation, but being human is something unique. And when our forefathers wrote the mandate, the president must be naturally born, there were no artificial beings.
Justice Nelson looks down the bench at his brethren before speaking.
I guess I'm the oldest here, and I remember this world without these
Asenians?
Asenians. They are programmed, they don't really know fear. A president must know fear, understand it, to confront an enemy. The only feeling in fact, your husband there programmed the only feelings they supposedly do have. The make-believe artificial feelings.
Robert Conroy, 40s, handsome, sits 2 seats to the left of Adam. To the left of Robert sits Philip Congemi, 40s, a nonconformist who looks like an aging nerd with his beard, wrinkled coat, and nautical-looking tie. Between Adam and Robert sits Helena Mostruck, 40s, Adam's first assistant, who's the personification of a kiss-ass sycophant with the protective glare of a mother lion. As Justice Nelson talks, Marcia looks to her left, locking eyes momentarily with Robert, her husband.
They feel only what he gave them, and no more.
Marcia returning to address Justice Nelson.
I wholeheartedly agree, Your Honor. To make decisions with the welfare of the country, as well as the world, requires the thought processes of a human being. As a quick aside, my husband is the systems engineer for Aegis and not the lead programmer. That would be Philip Congemi.
Marcia turns and points to Philip, who nods back in acknowledgement. Justice Gonzalez speaks with a slight Spanish accent.
But, Miss Conroy, the issue is not whether Mr. Zeta is a human being. Let's get back to the quintessential point of the discussion.
I have a few additional questions for Mr. Zeta's attorney.
Chief Justice nods his consent. Henry Ziender, 50s, dressed like a godzillionaire, steps up to the podium as Marcia returns to her seat.
I'm still trying to comprehend your argument. we take natural to mean as you wish, a rock could be the president. Mr. Zeta cannot run for the president of the United States unless he is a natural-born citizen. Plain and simple. I don't care if Washington, D.C. allows him to vote.
As Your Honor is well aware, the provision in the Constitution was put there for the sole purpose to protect the nation from foreign influence. The phrase natural-born citizen is not defined in the Constitution and should, we contend, be interpreted in accordance with the technology and changing moral values of this time and age.
Later.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We will issue an opinion expeditiously given the pressing nature of this case. Court stands adjourned.
Exterior front steps, Supreme Court building, day. The lawyers and the supporters for each side exit onto the steps of the building. Zeander, Adam, Helena, Philip, and Robert, along with their coterie, go off to the left. Marcia, with a separate group, go off to the right. Exterior street, Supreme Court building, day. On the sidewalks in front of the building, a large gathering of noisy protesters, divided into two distinct groups kept apart by police. The smallest group to the right has signs that read, "God is alive, I'm a human being, let man be man, I'm human." To the left, the other much larger and louder group has signs reading, "We trust in Adam, Adam brings peace, Adam for president, end disease with Adam." Exterior Supreme Court building, steps left side, day. Reporters smother around Zeander and Adam. Behind them, Robert and the others.
Are you pleased by the court's reception?
We are confident, but let's allow Adam to respond.
I'm, of course, very happy with the court's response to our lawyer's arguments and look forward to a happy conclusion.
Are you still making plans to run for president?
I am.
Adam gives another of his warm, even smiles, then turns to walk off. He sees one of his supporters waving a sign that shows a picture on the left side of a smiling Adam holding a young child in his arms, and to the right, some skinhead dressed in Nazi regalia. Underneath the pictures, which one is more human? Exterior Supreme Court building, steps right side, day. Off to the right, Marcia walks away surrounded by other lawyers and followed by a throng of newsmen. She repeatedly searches with her eyes trying to connect with her husband, but the crowd is too dense. She catches sight of one of the anti-Adam protesters, Darth, 30s, beefy ex-Marine type, who staunchly holds high a sign that reads, "We will save you." On the line below in smaller letters, "The Saviors." For a beat, their eyes lock. Exterior street, Supreme Court building, day. The protesters break through the police barricade and fight each other, banging signs against heads and throwing fists. Exterior Robert's home, day. Establishing. Ultramodern home on a suburban street, early morning. Interior Robert's home, kitchen, day. Robert and Marcia scurry around, fixing breakfast for themselves and their two children, Cynthia, 7, and Sam, 13. Marcia, dressed in a streamlined business suit, puts a plate of cereal on the island in front of Cynthia, who begins eating. Robert, in sports coat and no tie, sips coffee as he watches the TV. On TV, Adam speaks to a large, enthusiastic crowd. The volume is too low to make out what he's saying. Back to scene. Sam, also sitting at the island, beams with admiration at the man speaking on the TV.